What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Civilization 5 with the disappearing civs AI only battle. Plenty of wars breaking out last episode. It was last turn, sorry, even more than last episode. Obviously in the last episode, but last turn specifically. Obviously a pretty big one now also underway between the Shoshone and Canada. America's been eliminated, if I'm not mistaken. Texas just attacked the Mayans, didn't they? I don't know how well this is going to go for them though, but we'll see. South America, a little bit more quiet. The Inca continuing to disappoint, I'm afraid, on that front. Shaka, out of nowhere, is settled all over the Sahara very quickly and is conquering Morocco now. Not looking good for the Moroccans. We will be left with just two civs that originated in Africa, the Zulu and Egypt, should they go the whole way. And with Rome joining in, yeah, I would guess Morocco is probably on their last legs at this point. Europe, pretty quiet. Apart from that, obviously, we just seen with Rome. Russia v France is somehow... I don't know how Russia got some boats here. They must have been close by already, but there's no way they've sailed the whole way around in that sort of time. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. In theory, I mean, they could take it. I just don't really think it will happen. But okay, maybe there's a shot. If Russia gets this, it'd be a weird scenario. But yeah, I mean, it's already like cut off from France, so it's not going to worsen the border gore too much. It's already there. We've also got Mongolia versus China, and the Kulin are also involved in that one. See, already grabbing southern China, which was a big success for them. And what else we got? We've got Japan about to probably this turn grab this city off Russia. I mean, Russia can't really defend it. And yeah, it'll be another little port for Japan to maybe build some boats, other things that could be of use throughout the game for them. We'll see. See what they get up to. Siam are in a war as well. Yeah, everyone's in a war at the moment, apart from the Europeans. Yeah, against Parthia. I didn't have much hope for them, but they have just produced a load of planes out of nowhere. And again, against a civ that doesn't have planes to defend themselves, that can get a bit one-sided. Especially, there's no anti-air weapons or anything, so they're just going to get absolutely... Yeah, that's going to hurt, basically. Although one died, so maybe shooting a cannon in the sky or the Gatling gun did the job. One of the planes over here did die. Oh no, maybe it's this one. Maybe it moved. Either way. The Kulin, not yet pursuing any more of China. Looks like they're just happy to accept what they've got here. It's a pretty good city to have. A big chunk of land with it as well. Sort of cuts off China from the outside world unless they get open borders with Japan. Which is unlike, oh wow, Tokyo up to 30 population now. That must be contributing a lot to Japan's success, because they've been doing surprisingly well. I know they had some early technology boosts, but I imagine those would have worn out, because they're still, only got 5-6 cities. They're not massive. But then Kyoto here also at 23, another really good city, 13 there. Obviously Osaka here right next to Tokyo is at 16. I wonder how big you could get this city if you just had one city. It would be ridiculous. Not obviously great maybe for production. Or I don't know, actually. I think it would be fine. You could probably do Japan with just one giant city. That'd be amazing. There's so many... So the Shoshone are ridiculous. You could have a whole civ just out of these Alaskan cities, and you'd be like, they're an okay civ. Obviously, you'd need them to have spawned at the start of the game and be a bit bigger in population. But beyond that, a civ like this size would be a contender. But no, they've got all of that, and all of this, and all the way down here, and and they've managed to connect to San Francisco. Still some border gore. California split in half. Texas having the odd random tile. Okay, how many cities will Shaka take this turn? He probably won't take this one because it is not coastal. But never say never. He's doing miracles already with this invasion. It just came out of nowhere. I was like, yeah, there's no chance. But yeah, they've got these cities to 0 health. Not sure they'll get a melee unit on land up here, but Marrakesh could certainly fall at some point. Should they put in the effort? France is just sailing around. I don't actually know what they're up to. I'm so excited for the top 10 because I have literally no idea. I mean, obviously we can sort of guess the top 3, and I don't know. I feel like Russia might be 4th, but I don't really know. I think we know the top 3 is pretty clear, but obviously civs are going to be removed by then. It's going to get very messy. But yeah, I don't really know what the other 7 members would be of a top 10, so it's quite interesting. We'll have to wait and find out, of course. The Kulin complete the Eiffel Tower. I can't remember. I can never remember what wonders do. I can remember what it does in Civ 6, but not Civ 5. Something to do with tourism and culture, I think. Civ 6, it increases appeal of tiles, but yeah, I can't remember what it does. And there we go, Japan gets the job done, captures the city of Orenburg off of Russia. It's another sort of port in this interesting bay area, which is obviously, it's not really represented. I don't even think it's in the other map that I use. Maybe this little bit is like this nub of land, peninsula. It sticks out a little bit, but it's nowhere near this big. But here you've got Japan with all kinds of boats filling it. The Shoshones here, the Kulin have a city, so it's a lot more diverse and important for the civs military-wise in this map, to say the least. And there we go, we complete the turn. First turn took only 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Oh my goodness. Brazil peaced out with Arabia. Obviously that was not the most useful war in the first place, but it is over. I wouldn't be surprised if the Zulu get Marrakesh low and then peace out for these two. Probably something like that will happen. I wouldn't also be surprised. I mean, they've got some cavalry and lancers here. The planes are also going to be super effective against these kinds of units. Musketmen, crossbowmen. Wouldn't be surprised if they just took everything at this point. Or Rome obviously might take the land cities, I guess. As Rome themselves have just entered the modern era. Quite far off. Obviously we saw the Kulin, I think, enter the atomic era. I think a couple of other civs must be there as well. They are holding on to this city fine for now. It was in the red, but yeah, it's recovering. And I don't know, 100 city defense as well with that artillery unit. That's probably the highest, some of the highest in the world. I looked over and saw 101.97 here in Japan, so I won't overcommit to that promise that it's the most. But compared to the other Chinese cities, it's very high. I don't see any other hundreds or even 80s around the rest of Asia. I mean, this Japanese cities are 90s, but they're in good spots to be defended. I don't know, I would guess that 101 might be the best in the world. The Shoshone can't beat that unless there's anywhere with like really good natural protection. Texas is nowhere near that. Canada, I don't know, 90s. There's some good cities in some of these bigger civs, but in terms of protection and defense, I don't think we're going to see a few more 90s, but I don't think we'll see another triple digits. Oh, new Incan city, Ica. Just remove the N. Cool. Okay, there's a few down here, never mind. But these do have rocket artilleries next to them, which is in itself quite a big development for this game, and paratroopers. For the Zulu, so yeah, they're probably in first. I mean, that's a safe assumption to be made, but it's not always a guarantee. We saw in the last series, Russia was in first for probably the first 2/3 of the game, and then they just slowed down too much and just lost. Now, I don't think Shaka's probably not going to slow down, but it's not a guarantee. But yeah, 125, 112, 114, these three, and 119, 108, 108. Yeah, there's a few hundreds down there. 126, 127, 125. Yeah, some massive city defenses down here. I think that would make this city, Mabanza Congo, probably the best defended in the world. I'm not sure what plays into that value. I assume it's the buildings that are built. The units that are in there normally help, although probably not as much, because this city has an artillery. I noticed one of Japan's best had an artillery, and that's not made a difference. Oh, sorry, the Kulin's a good city, but it hasn't made the huge difference. So I'm guessing it's more location and the fortification buildings. Nowhere in Europe, with Moscow's 98. Oh, St. Petersburg 106. Okay, so that's 3 triple digit ones. Well, no, 4. 3 or 4, but in terms of civs it's 3, unless I find some more. Only 3 civs. Russia, the Kulin, and Japan have all got that high. I don't know if the Kulin have any other cities in the hundreds. Elsewhere, 70s, 80s, 96. Okay, this one's 100 as well. 107. Yeah, but it's still pretty rare outside of those 3 civilizations. Texas settled Corpus Christi on this island. The Hawaiian island chain. People with... I got it wrong last series. I can't remember what they're called, to be honest. But the big island. So obviously Honolulu is not on the big island. And that blew my mind a little bit. But there you go. Or Honolulu isn't the big island if it shares the same name. There's a bigger one. Which is pretty cool. I don't really know that sort of stuff. But there you go. Who is attacking this? Oh, I'm guessing it's the Shoshones planes. was going to say, how on earth are you sieging out New York from there? But yeah, it is obviously the plains. Texas didn't join in, did they? I'm not losing my mind. Texas, they attacked America at a similar time, but no, they're not at war with Canada. Wouldn't have been a worse move, and I think they'd have more luck against Canada than the Mayans, to be honest. This is a very small point to squeeze through. Texas boats are on the wrong side as well. Not really a great place to be at the moment for them, but maybe they'll turn it around, I don't know. But yeah, they probably should have gone after Canada instead. However, I think Canada is stronger than them, so on an individual level, they probably would have turned that one down. At least for technology. I don't know if the AI would have considered that the Shoshone's probably going to destroy them. Don't know whether they take that into their calculations. Okay, Canada. We need Canada to do good, because that's the only reason I use this map, because I know people like to see Canada every now and then, maybe once or twice a year. I switch maps specifically to use Canada for you guys, so we need them to survive, to be honest. Not, it would have defeated the purpose of the whole thing. Is the Hun gap filled? Not really. Couple, obviously these two Russian cities. I mean, there's 5 cities, sorry. So I guess fair enough, but there's still space for maybe one more. I guess the desert's off-putting. Fair enough. The Ottomans may get lucky and actually connect their borders and cut off Persia, who'll be very annoyed. Persia have done nothing again. I had hope for them. They were doing better than normal, I guess, with 3 cities. Obviously, this region is a little bit bigger in this map. Normally, you can only get 1 city in Persia on the other map. But yeah, they've not really excelled. Them and Arabia have definitely stalled, I'm afraid. I think the Zulu might still be at war with Arabia, but the fact, maybe not. They seem to be leaving them alone, if they are, but I don't know. The Ottomans, a bit more of a presence in North Africa. Don't know if they've got something planned. I mean, attack on Egypt. I think they settled this a while back, but another city there. And Morocco is so close. All the cities very low. Persia piecing out with Egypt. They just walked all these troops all the way over here just to piece out straight away. Great job. I mean, they got nothing else to do, so I won't get too mad at them. But that, yeah, why would you do that? And then you denounce Japan, who you don't really. Yeah, you're nowhere near Japan. What was the point in that? Siam with some slow progress towards conquering this city. Nothing. Apparently, I will be only a minor warmonger if I conquer it. Oh yeah, I moved them, so I'm still at war with them. That's what it is. I wondered. But yeah, Siam should get this. They have planes now. That's quite a big advantage. At least to get someone who doesn't have them. I know they're not the be-all and end-all unit, but yeah, against someone that doesn't have them, that's pretty useful. And obviously grabbing this will sort of fill up all the space that was left by Harappa when they were disappeared. Or deleted, to put it more brutally. Mongolia is still after this Chinese city. It feels very disproportionate. The fact they have not conquered this yet is a little bit strange, but I'm sure very soon it will fall to Mongolia. You'd hope. And then they can just come and focus down here, and I think then we will maybe see the fall of China if Mongolia really focuses on it. Obviously the Kulin will be helping out. They're putting in more effort. They've almost been forced to fight more because China's come after the city. It looked like they were willing to just leave it be. But yeah, China came to fight for this, and that's pushed the Kulin to be a bit more defensive. Here you go, Siam. Gonna pull off a miracle this turn. Not really a miracle, but just do some damage. Nope, you killed a few units, but left the city pretty much untouched. Let's see what Mongolia can get done in their turn instead. Probably just rearrange their units and not shoot anything. Typical AI move. Nope, there you go. They actually put it in the red. So yeah, I would say next turn, but that rifleman is so close to dying. And I can't remember. Is it Kashyyyk? Are they not horsemen on? I can't remember if they're melee units or horsemen. They have sticks or spears, so I assume they're not. But yeah, this rifleman's probably going to die. That's all before it gets another go. They did instant heal it that turn, and it took some damage. So yeah, they'll probably have to wait a little bit longer, depending on what the Kashyyks can do. Russia, they've lost their melee boats. They could have had this if they'd just been more patient. But yeah, no, they were not patient, and now they're not going to get it. I know that there was one more Russian boat sort of semi-close, but I don't know where it is now. It's gone. There was like a caravel or something that could have done it, but that seems to have disappeared as well. Don't know if someone killed it or it just gone travelling a lot quicker than I thought it could. Shoshone's turn. How are you doing? I don't know why they're bombing New York instead of Ottawa. Is there some sort of strategy to that? I have no idea. I mean, they didn't do it too much that turn. In fact, they didn't really move anything that turn. But yeah, there we go. This big battle continues. Let's go see what the Zulu do to Morocco. They do have a cavalry close. If they use the planes correctly, they could clear a path. They only have to kill the musketmen, really. Although, obviously, it's difficult to hold on to the city. Although, the more they take, the easier it gets to hold on to all of them. Because they get more bombardments and ranged defences and stuff. It should be easier for them. But we'll see. Zulu. Oh, okay. Both cities down to 0. But yeah, nothing. Marrakesh also into the yellow. Rome is starting to help though. And they will probably at least get one city here. Their frigates are doing the attacks on Marrakesh as well as that battleship. Yeah, there's a good chance both of them end up with some territory yet from Morocco. And it will probably be the elimination of Morocco prior to turn 200. So they won't be being removed. In that way, they'll just be being removed. Canada's turn to fight back. I can literally just click between the civs as they make their turns. That's not a good sign from a speed perspective of this series. And there we go. I think that's the first Manhattan Project, unless I've forgotten one. As you guys know, my memory for what happened in yesterday's episode is atrocious. But yeah, the Kulin complete the Manhattan Project, and I think they're first. I mean, if not, it's not the be all and end all again, just because you can't. But you have to go to the next technology to build the atomic bomb. But if they've built that Manhattan Project, they've probably got that technology by now. But either way, it doesn't look like they have any nukes. I don't know what the uranium situation is either. Siam with the settler heading out, as well as a load of archaeologists and other things. Interesting, but yeah, I don't know where the settler's heading. There's a few islands, I guess, they could go for. Opt to settle on. Oh, that is brutal. So yeah, I said China would like these two. It looked like the Kulin were willing to be nice, but China then came and tried to attack Guangzhou again, and the Kulin just sent in a couple of frigates and some submarines and decimated what remained of China's navy. Yeah, these submarines are pretty much undetectable for China. They probably don't even know they're there. You just kill one frigate, but yeah, obviously the submarines will kill this cannon. That frigate's probably going to get sunk. All round didn't really go that way, and they've sort of retreated from Guangzhou as well. Siam have definitely fallen back, so they're obviously feeling a bit underconfident, or just not very confident. Japan has managed to get a warrior into the Sahara Desert war zone. Good job. That might be their initial warrior. That's quite an interesting story to be told. Right, Rome does not conquer Rabat, and they get close to Marrakesh, and I think they've blocked the Zulu. I don't think the Zulu can get this, so yeah, Rome should get Marrakesh. I feel like Shaka might grab the rest, maybe this turn or next turn. The Ottomans, yeah, certainly looking stronger. They're another civ that I'm excited. They definitely have top 10 potential. I don't know. Like, a lot of civs do. Obviously not as much as others. I think the Inca are probably in there. And that's a guess, but I would guess the Inca's probably in there just because their cities are all massive. Apart from that one, it's at 1. But the rest of them are pretty big. Brazil, I'm not sure. They finally settled a coastal city. It's happened. There we go. Not sure it was that important anymore, but never mind. They can finally build some boats to do stuff. I don't know what they're going to do, but yeah. But yeah, there's definitely some civs that are I think are in the top 10, but there's somewhere I don't know enough. Like the Inca, I would guess are in there. I would hazard a guess that Canada is in there right now. I don't know if they'll be in there after this war or at the end, but I'd say they're probably in there at the moment. Because you can't just consider size. I know Texas is doing good. I would put them again in the risky category with the Ottomans. They're probably better than Brazil, and I guess Rome's in there as well. I'm not really sure how well Rome's doing, but Canada does have a bit of a tech advantage on these guys, so I'd probably give it. Canada's probably doing better across the whole info addict board, even if they're not maybe as cool military-wise. France is probably in there. They are like the biggest in Europe. I wouldn't put the Goths in there. I know they're doing good for tech, but I don't know. They look very empty. Russia's probably in there. Or in fact, I would say Russia's 4th. I just don't want to take that risk and get it wrong. But Russia probably is in 4th. Mongolia's probably in there. I've probably named 10 now who are certainly in there. Mongolia probably in there. Japan seemed to be in there from just looking. And yeah, I wouldn't put China in there anymore. I think they're again with that sort of Brazil level. And obviously Siam is again another one that's probably in there. So if I think about who I just mentioned, Canada, Shoshone, the Inca, that's 3. Morocco actually just reconquered a city, which is impressive. Not sure how long that will last. Shoshone, Canada, Inca, maybe we can do it. Zulu, that's 4. France, 5. Russia, 6. Mongolia 7, Japan 8, Siam 9, Kulin 10. That would be my guess on the top 10. I know, that's like right now. I assume it won't be like that at the end. I mean, I think Canada's going to lose to the Shoshone eventually and probably won't be up there anymore. I think other civs could certainly die as well. Mongolia is probably the most likely of all the civs I named there, other than Canada, to die. Japan, depends who they end up at war with, I guess, as well. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the top 10. I don't know. But yeah, Texas, Brazil, depending on statistics, obviously in the different individual things, Texas could be in there. Okay, and the Zulu responded by grabbing 2 cities. There you go. Yeah, depending on the different statistics, I would say that the ones just outside, but still to be considered, would be Texas, Brazil, maybe doing well with like cultural things and other things. Rome might be fairly close. The Ottomans, another one, probably hard done by with that list I just gave. The Goths, I guess I'd put Sweden. Again, I don't really know. Sweden might benefit from that thing we get with the info addicts, where you might get a civ who is actually 10th, who comes 10th every time, but Sweden might just win like 2 or 3 categories and finish above that civ that just does the same last place of the scores every time. It's like in a little, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just something that does. It's probably the one like downside to using the info addict scoring system. If you came 10th place every time across like the 20 or less than 20 info addicts that I use, you're going to score 20 points, 1 for each one. 1 is the lowest you can get before you get 0. But then a civ like Sweden might have won or come very high on some very random categories. And if you come like first, you get 10 points. So Sweden might end up with like 25 off a couple of seconds, and maybe a 4th or something, and then they don't score any other points. And that puts them above the civ that's come 10th every time. So there's always a bit of I always try to give some honourable mentions of all the civs that scored a fair few points that didn't make the list. Because the 10th area is where it's more inaccurate, whereas the first place and stuff is a lot more accurate, because those civs are obviously on there all the time. The Mayans pieced out with California. Nothing changed hands. Brazil still have 2 cities. The mini-map looks so tiny. But yeah, that's just the scale of this map, I guess. It's a lot taller than the other one. I don't know if it's wider. Actually, it must be wider because the sea's a lot bigger, but you really notice how tall it is as opposed to... Because obviously the other map, like the land is the top of the map, like a bit of Sweden sticks down, that's it. But yeah, this one, certainly taller. I think that's where you notice it. It is much wider as well. But yeah, in both categories, I guess pretty big. Rome's turn. Will they possibly eliminate Morocco? They could get Marrakesh. In fact, I think they certainly will. I don't think they'll get Rabat just because there's no road. They've got to go over this hill. So I think it's 1 turn away. And actually the Zulu could get it this turn, assuming this cavalry was to go for it. But Morocco does lose Marrakesh, and with just Rabat remaining, they will probably be eliminated fairly soon, I'm afraid. Not the best of runs. They're one of those civs that I have to put in every time, but they don't seem to do too well. They had one good game in that Europe one. That was very, very much set up in their favour though. That recent Europe game I did where I sort of blocked off a lot of the empty space that I couldn't fill with civs. So yeah, I wouldn't really say that was a fair win. That was a bit of a dodgy one, but there you go, whatever. They were up there. Did they win that game? I don't know who won. I think Russia won that one as well. They just win all the time, Russia. If there's a series, like, I know statistically when you make your predictions on this channel, just for future reference, if you pick Russia, I would say Russia has now won 40% of the time, so maybe that's a bit much, but I don't know. Russia's certainly won way more than anyone else. That is for certain. Obviously, the Zulu and Mongolia are the safe bets normally. The Zulu, not so much. This game, they are, because it was my fault, I guess. I probably should have at least put South Africa in there. I didn't want to put Rhodesia, because they always beat Russia. They're the Zulu, and then they're there, and they just do the same thing as the Zulu. And for whatever reason, the Zulu aren't as good as Rhodesia. I know Rhodesia's a bit OP as a mod, although I don't know. I wouldn't have expected that to kick in till later. I guess the spawn hurts them. Obviously spawning right here certainly traps the Zulu. South Africa spawns out here. I think they would have been perfect in this. But then again, we can't look back in regret. For all we know, we would have had to have removed South Africa, and then it wouldn't have mattered. Also, I still haven't done the alternate battle to this point. It's still at turn 100. I've just realised it has taken us something like 8 episodes since turn 150. No, I don't know. It's been a while since that Info Addicts episode, and it is going to take me hours to get through that other one. I don't even know if I'm going to have time. I'll have to space it out. That's a scary thought I didn't even want to have. But yeah, the alternate one is still ongoing. That might be a Zulu free world at some point. I don't know. Again, I haven't run it since last time, so I haven't changed it yet. But obviously, all the civs who have been removed in this game are safe. I probably should have made a list, but I will make sure not to remove them. But it doesn't work vice versa. Kulin versus Egypt. That is not so important. Kulin will not be coming over this way. Oh, China, you messed up. The Kulin with all their planes and their navy now arriving. They should be grabbing the city of Seoul. So yeah, China probably gonna be eliminated. 20 turns is a very long time. It feels very slow at the moment, but yeah, no, sorry, because it is so slow. Yeah, 20 turns, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is going to be, that's probably that's probably like 4 episodes maybe away. So yeah, there's a good chance China won't be around for the next Info Addicts check-in at turn 200. It is Texas's turn. Please don't crash. Got a big decision to make. It's not a big decision, this. Do I give you an extra turn? Of course I will. We're going to go well over half an hour, I think. About 2 minutes left. China versus Egypt. God, that does not matter at all. China, do you really need to be declaring more wars? Like, seriously? I don't know. But yeah, Seoul should fall to the Kulin. France, are you going to do anything? Because I've bigged you up quite a bit there, putting you in the top 10. They do look very strong in Europe. I think their borders are kind of awkward. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was this France. I feel like the UK is the best option, but the UK now has a ton of boats. I wouldn't even want to fight them. I feel like France needs to just put all their units in Berlin and like try and get Russia to help them against the Goths, or even Sweden. Sweden's got enough units now because there's been no wars in Europe for so long. France, Britain, Sweden in particular, Rome at a point. I mean, they've spread out a bit more now. Have managed to build it, and yeah, Morocco's been eliminated. Rome versus Egypt, straight off the back of that. They can't get to them, but there you go. But yeah, Rome was like that as well. They've just built, and the Ottomans are there now. They've just built so many units and not fighting anyone. The Goths are not there, and that's either because of their own choice, and also they had like nothing left. Like they got out of a scary period with a ton of wars, with no units left at all when they pieced out with Sweden finally. So yeah, they've obviously got longer to go to rebuild. Also, their borders are kind of just weirdly huge. Like, considering how many cities they have, they do have big borders. So obviously, maybe if they stood all their units together, it would look a bit more. It would look like more. Because I think France, to the Goths, they've sort of similar number of cities and population, but the Goths' space is much bigger than France's. So that makes it a bit of a hard comparison. The Goths pieced out with Egypt though. Do still have 2 cities. I mean, I'm sure they're going to go to the Zulu. I don't think there's any doubt in that, unless the Ottomans do something right now. And somehow Egypt has better technology than so many people. How the heck do you have great war infantry and artillery? Whatever, they do. Beyond me, but they do. Shoshone, still, they're doing so much damage to... Whoa, where are we going? We're going on a trip. Shoshone versus New York. Shoshone v New York? Just New York, yeah. They don't care about the rest of Canada. They're just bombing New York. Not really going well. This Gatling gun, so low in health. Don't know if they'll get to escape. It might do if they put it in the sea. I have no idea. But yeah, Texas, this is not going to work. I'm sorry. You're not attacking the Mayans that way. Shaka did not plow straight into another war. He's learned some restraint. Impressive. Obviously, he doesn't know this, of course. The civs don't understand this, but the more civs he eliminates, the more likely, I mean, it goes for everyone, but the higher percentage chance of him getting eliminated, it goes up too. So there's a risk reward to all this, you know. If he was a human player in this scenario, you'd keep one city left of Morocco, Congo. Who else? They haven't really killed anyone else. It's kind of bad at this point because Ethiopia got taken out for them. Egypt. You could keep one city alive, and then that lowers your possibility of being eliminated. That's what I'd do if I was a human player playing in this scenario. Just prevent those civs from dying. You know, even if your borders surround them. You can obviously Citadel spam them as well. I mean, I'm sure they have plenty of great generals. Doesn't look like it, actually, to be fair. Oh, they put some here. But yeah, you could just do that and then reduce the risk. I mean, obviously, again, it reduces the risk of everyone else disappearing, but includes your own. And yes, the Kulin do conquer the city of Seoul, which actually cuts off Japan from any sort of, you know, last-minute feeding frenzy that goes on for the Chinese cities. It will just be down to the Kulin and Mongolia to conquer what remains. And an ideology. Feels like it's been a while since one of them. Texas has gone autocracy. So there's still some indecision. I think order was winning, wasn't it? So autocracy getting a little bit more support. And the more civs that go that way, the better for those who are following it. But that will be it for this episode. So as always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.